Namaste. My heartfelt gratitude to all of you for being here. The chosen prayer from the prayers and meditations of the Mother today is a prayer written by the Mother on April 8th, 1914. And with my limited mind, I titled it Looking Within with Certitude. Now, the prayer written on April 8 by the Mother is actually a prophecy and also a promise. It brings out the optimistic vision of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother that the natural law of the divine will manifest, and it is a certitude that it will manifest, and it can be possible only through the omnipotent love, the all-powerful love, which will ensure that the divine justice prevails upon the earth. It is an interesting prayer, as we normally do not connect love with justice. We always connect with justice with something else, which we will discuss while we reflect on the prayer. And justice can be built only on love. It cannot be built on any other basis. And the time is near. The Mother says the time is near. And she is showing us the positive way of looking at the divine law. Love is the dominant force for justice. And it is only this all-powerful love of the divine that will make us stand before the divine and bear this justice. Otherwise, who can approach the Lord and not be found guilty? Let us read the prayer. Upar? Am I audible? Prayer on April 8, 1914. Lord, my thought is calm and my heart ingathered. I turn towards Thee with a profound devotion and a boundless trust. I know that Thy love is all-powerful and that Thy justice will reign over the earth. I know that the hour is near when the last veil will be rent and all inequity disappear to give place to an era of peace and harmonious effort. O Lord, with thought wrapped within and the heart at peace, I approach Thee, and all my being is filled with Thy divine presence. Grant that I may see Thee alone in all things, and that all may be resplendent with Thy divine light. Oh, may all hatred be appeased, all rancor effaced, all fears dispelled, all suspicions destroyed, all malevolence overcome. And in this city, in this country, upon this earth, may all hearts feel vibrating within them the sublime love, source of all transfiguration. O Lord, how ardently do I call and implore Thy love. Grant that my aspiration may be intense enough to awaken the same aspiration everywhere. Oh, may goodness, justice, and peace reign as supreme masters. May ignorant egoism be overcome. darkness be suddenly illuminated by thy pure light. May the blind see, the deaf hear. May thy law be proclaimed in every place and in a constantly progressive union, in an ever more perfect harmony. May all, like one single being, stretch out their arms towards thee to identify themselves with thee and manifest thee upon earth. O Lord, with thought wrapped within, the heart radiant with sunshine, I give myself to thee without reservation, and the self disappears in thee. The Divine Mother is practically showing us the way. What should be our state when we go through our life, the life situations, the circumstances. The mind and heart, that is the mental and the vital, must be inward looking. But it is not enough for the mind and heart to be only inward looking, but also to have a boundless trust. So it is not enough to be just ingathered, but ingathered with an unshakable faith and trust in the all-powerful divine love, which will ensure that divine justice prevails on earth. Whatever be the present circumstances, whatever has been past and whatever is the present situation right now, divine love will ultimately be the victor. And this is what she is bringing out in the first part of the prayer. She says, Lord, my thought is calm and my heart ingathered. I turn towards thee with a profound devotion. So when the heart and mind, when the heart is ingathered in the divine, lost in the divine love, and when the mind is calm, what one experiences is a profound devotion. And not only that, a boundless trust. I know that thy love is all powerful and that thy justice will reign upon the earth. What a certitude. So both mind and heart must be inward looking, and the divine love will be the victor, because the mother herself is stating that she has a boundless trust. And when the mother prays, she is not praying for herself, she is praying for all of us, for the entire world. The logic is very simple. What has gone into creation will ultimately come out, and what has gone into the creation is the divine consciousness, and it will emerge. And it is not that love will come from somewhere outside and redeem, or love will actually come and then uplift this consciousness. It is actually hidden in creation. Love is the original power that has gone into creation. In fact, the journey from dust to man has been a journey of love. And love is the one power that creates order and harmony and beauty. Because there are three sides of love: harmony, beauty, and bliss. And it is there, very much there in creation. It is there, in fact, in everything. Despite all the forces of destruction and disorder which are in plenty and which have their origin in inconscience, there is order and harmony in the world, whether it is a single atom, whether it is a single cell, whether it is animal body, whether it is plant body. In everything there is a harmony, and there is an order. Problem comes when this order gets disturbed. And what is going to change, switch the needle or shift the needle? It is again going to be love. Because that is the prime motive of love. What has gone out of the Lord has to come back to Lord. In the way, in the middle, we deviate. We go here and there. And that's ego. The mother used to tell a story in Pondicherry. It's a parable basically. When she used to talk about the genesis of creation, she would say that initially, right in the beginning, four powers emanated from the Lord. And she used to tell it beautifully in the story form. So, what were these powers? It was light or consciousness, and truth, and bliss, and then life itself. And on the way, as they started emanating, each of them started moving away from each other, and they started getting focused only on themselves, and something was drastically going wrong. They started moving inward into themselves, and that is perhaps the origin of ego. So, what happened? Light and consciousness turned into inconscience, truth turned into falsehood, and bliss turned into suffering and sorrow, and life turned into death. So, with this parable, the mother used to explain. And then what happened? When all this was happening, these emanations, and they were getting inward and going towards the reverse side, a power came out. There was a cry. And this cry actually was from the inconscience and from the very things that were deviating and concentrating. And this power was save us. And the power that leaped out from the divine was the power of love. And then it pervaded everything. And it has been only because of love that we are moving Godward. So it is the divine's play, one can say, to what has gone out has to come back to the divine. So what has gone out in creation will ultimately emerge and come back. And the mother says, very interesting line, thy justice will reign upon the earth. When the disciples would ask Sri Aurobindo about justice, he would say that, well, looking at the present situation of the world, it is very difficult to talk about justice. So it was his humorous way of telling, but never did he say that there would not be any justice. He says, yes, if you act according to your ego, there is going to be a recoil. And when the disciples asked the mother the same question, Mother, what do you think about, is there justice in the world? With so much of, when we see so much happening in the world that is not fair and just, is there justice really in the world? And the mother became silent for a while. And then she said, of course, there is justice. And it is only, and then she also talked about this recoil. So if we go away from the divine, wherever there is deviation, there is an imbalance. So basically, justice is not about, if we look at justice from our human mental conceptions, we always associate it with punishment. Punishment, somebody has done something evil or there is a crime happening and that needs to be punished. But the mother says the divine's working is not like that. The divine's modus operandi is not to pinpoint, okay, here you have gone wrong and I will punish you. The divine's play is to pour out the love, and what has shifted has to come back. So justice is actually about balance. And justice does not eliminate evil. It just puts it in the right place. And what is evil? Evil is a lack of balance. It is a want of balance. And elimination of evil can only be by transfiguration. And if we look closely at transfiguration, it is really not elimination, it is a change. And one cannot eliminate that has gone in creation, but one can only transform it. So what does love do? How is love connected? Well, love creates harmony, order, meaning things will go, and love is going to ensure things will go where they actually belong to, according to the divine consciousness. and that is order, and that is harmony. If we look at Sri Aurobindo's description of Mahalakshmi, it is all this. Anandamayi, there's harmony. She's trying to create harmony and order in whatever is very chaotic. But basically, what is happening is there is a balance which is being created. What is gone topsy-turvy with this seesaw kind of a motion has to be brought back into a still balance. So things have shifted and they have to be shifted back. And that is why, and this is how the mother is perhaps relating justice to balance and the role of love in bringing back justice. And without love, with love, justice will be very spontaneous and very automatic. Without love, it is going to be painful. The mother goes on to say, I know, very powerful words from the mother, I know that the hour is near when the last veil will be rent and all iniquity disappear to give place to an era of peace and harmonious effort. And what is this last veil that the mother is talking of? It is the veil of ego. If there is injustice and whenever there is iniquity, wherever there is iniquity, it is all because of the egoism and it is all because of the greed. As long as we human beings live by ego, we cannot root out injustice. Only courts will be there who will punish one criminal, and that criminal will be backed by 100 other criminals who will go scot-free. So only when the veil of ego is rent that the justice can prevail, and a wise man can be just only without ego. If there is a wise person and still there is ego, then even that wise person will not be able to do justice. She is full of certitude, the mother here, she is full of certitude. She says, I know. And she is confident. Here, we can see that exuberance and that confidence. She has realized integrally that the world has a happy destiny, a glorious era of peace and harmony. And that is what she is categorically giving us the assurance of. What does this law, this divine law and then justice do? I've just explained. It starts to shift things at a tremendous speed. We may be thinking that the mother and Sri Aurobindo 100 years back, maybe 150 years back. But in this 100 years, we see the tremendous shift in things that has happened. World wars have happened. Nations have fought. Still, there is, and in a tremendous way, this shift is now becoming more and more palpable. And this shift is perhaps difficult to understand with our limited understanding. But nevertheless, there is a new world order which is being created, and it has started to become very palpable, that this shift is becoming very, very tangible, even in our day-to-day lives. At the international level, we can see everything is spilling out. It is becoming more and more difficult to conceal the truth. So the truth age has already started. And the balance of power is actually shifting from the West, the Europe and USA, to the East. And the Asian way of life, which is actually inward looking, is seeing a resurgence. And mystic tendencies have started to come back. Whether it is the Western country or whether it is the Asian, it is coming back, and it is coming back in leaps and bounds. Gary Zukav, there is a very nice book. Gary Zukav, he wrote a book on spiritual partnership. And in this book, he has clearly stated that now we see that there are multi-sensory beings. Children are being born with it is not only the 5 senses. There is also a 6th sense. The children are being born with a 6th sense. And this he has called as multi-sensory beings. So we are not limited. The generations now that are going to come will not be limited only to these 5 senses. There is going to be a mass, you can say, a mass population of multi-sensory beings which will come, and they have already started. This process has already started. And it is maybe over the thousands of years it has built, but now now the age and the time that we are seeing is a very rapid phase of these things. She goes on to say, her thoughts are always wrapped within the Lord. O Lord, with thought wrapped within, and the heart at peace. And in the first paragraph, she says, the mind is calm and the heart is ingathered. Now the heart is at peace and the mind is inward. So I approach thee, and all my being is filled with thy divine presence. So here she is clearly saying that technical terms, mind, heart, whatever it is, it does not matter, because they are all part of the same consciousness. And so now both the mind and heart are ingathered. And when the mind and heart are ingathered, there is an automatic shift in the being towards the divine. And it fills up the being with the divine presence. This divine presence that she is talking of, it comes when the heart and mind are calm, peaceful, ingathered, fully focused on the Lord. Grant, she says, grant that I may see thee alone in all things, and that all may be resplendent with thy divine light. So she wants to say here that she wants to see the one in all, and may all the things manifest the divine light as fully as possible. It's like saying the divine in all and all in the divine. And this is the remedy. She said somewhere that this is the only solution. And the only solution for all that is existing in the world, all problems, everything, is to see the divine in everything. Everything in the divine is working. Even the collapsing and the changing and the topsy-turvy things or the turmoils we see the divine in the depths of all that. Final product is not known. We do not know what the final product is going to be. But the divine presence within is the certitude. And everything is moving forward. Life is constantly moving forward. When we deviate, love, you can say, bounces in or jumps in and puts us on the track. The effort of love is always like that. Whenever we deviate, there is an unease, there is a restlessness. And this comes only because we are acting according to our own ego and our own, you can say, ego self. And this restlessness is the indication that something is not right. And then when again we turn to the divine, the grace, we are able to see the grace, and we are again able to shift according to the divine consciousness. She further says, oh, may all hatred be appeased. And hatred is just the reverse of love. It is the opposite of love. All rancor effaced, all fears dispelled, all suspicions destroyed, all malevolence overcome. Because these are the things which are causing iniquity, hatred, jealousy, rancor, you can say suspicions, whatever. These are the things which are creating this imbalance and iniquity. And so again we come back to love, and how love removes injustice and brings back order and harmony. So it is only when love is it reigns supremely, we can be sure that justice also will be spontaneous and automatic. Then in that state, we don't have to be told what we have to do, what we should give, and to whom. In Auroville, the mother tried to create the same. And there you will find that those who earn more also give more. And those who can't earn are taken care of. Nevertheless, they have to work. So the work is a must. For any kind of balance or shifts to happen, work is a must. So, and why people do it spontaneously? Why should one work more and give more? Why at all? It is only because of this all-powerful love. Only because they have love within. And only because they have harmonized around that central idea which is within them, the divine, that they are able to do this. They say, in Hindi, prem deri duri aur parda mita deta hai. She says, and in this city is Pondicherry. In this city, in this country, India, upon this earth, may all hearts feel vibrating within them that sublime love, source of all transfiguration. So here she is talking about the transcendental quality of love. That it is love which can make you move mountains. It is love is sublime means it can go to any state to create order and harmony and bliss. And love is the solution. Not human love, as we say it. Human love is the material. But human love has to get transformed into the omnipotent love. And it is the mother's effort has been constantly this. That in all hearts, she's saying that all hearts feel vibrating within them. She's not only saying within me, oh Lord, may I feel your presence within me. She's saying all hearts feel vibrating. So she's praying for all of us. It is never for herself. And she is the epitome of love. That is why she is able to do it. And until man can feel this love, imbibe it, there can be no other way of organizing harmony, order, or whatever we want to create that bliss or that happy situation. And it's a very intense prayer. Oh Lord, how ardently do I call and implore thy love. This is all we should ask for. She has again and again said, divine love. We should ask for that. And she has said, the mother and Sri Aurobindo both have said, if you want something, first of all, you must want it very sincerely. And if we want divine love very sincerely, then all problems are solved actually. Grant that my aspiration may be intense enough to awaken the same aspiration everywhere. So even her aspiration is not for herself. She's feeling that the aspiration, she feels that intense aspiration, and then it becomes contagious and it touches every heart, and the same aspiration is invoked by all. So when a special, you can say, when a special being, we have all seen, when a special being prays like this and has this kind of an intense aspiration, mother is of course the epitome. I mean, she is the epitome of aspiration and love and whatever we can think of. So it can become contagious and it can affect others. Even in our day-to-day lives, we come across people, we call it aura, we are affected by the aura. And whatever they say, and just by the presence of that individual, it is so life-changing for many. It is so calming, so soothing. One feels that. It is very tangible. It is very... So this intense aspiration, if it is invoked in one, it is infectious. It is contagious. It spreads. Oh, may goodness, justice, and peace reign as supreme masters. May ignorant egoism be overcome. Darkness be suddenly illuminated by thy pure light. It was a blessed day for Pondicherry and for India and for all of us when the mother is invoking this. And she's saying that everybody, everything in this world, let it be illuminated by thy pure light. So, all fear, all rancor, hatred, malevolence, suspicions can be taken care of. They can be eliminated. Rather, they can be transformed only with this all-powerful transforming power of the love. She's praying constantly so that the darkness can be removed. And the next line is again very interesting. She says, may the blind see, the deaf hear. May thy law be proclaimed in every place, and in a constantly progressive union, in an ever more perfect harmony. May all, like one single being, stretch out their arms towards thee to identify themselves with thee and manifest thee upon earth. So here we see the metaphorical expressions of being blind and deaf. May the blind see, she says. We think we are able to see, but we are actually blind. Why? Because what we want to see and what we actually see is all, you can say, darkness and muck. And we take pleasure in seeing that again and again. So here, blind is not actually physically blind, it's metaphorical. May the blind see. Whatever blindness is there within us, may we get the true vision to see the divine working. May we see light. May we see always harmony. We aspire for harmony. Whatever we aspire for, may we see that. And then she says, may the deaf hear. What we take pleasure in hearing is all the noises of the world, all those attractive, very high decibels of noise. And we feel so enchanted with that. But here she's saying, hear the voice of the Lord within. And when one concentrates just on the mother, or even just reads a prayer from the prayers and meditations, one can hear that voice. She says, I come. And that is what she wants all of us to hear. So it's like in Hindi, there are these famous lines, no? Mukam karoti vachalam pangum girilanghe. So as a child, I would often relate it to, how can, it's about physical blindness or about physically somebody being crippled and climbing mountains and all. But it is not that. Here, blindness is there in us. We are also deaf. We are also crippled. And so she is saying that only the divine light and the divine love is the cure and the remedy for that. So I think there is one song also, Andha, Dwar Daya ka jab main kholu. What is that? Andha dekhe langda chalkar पहुँचे काशी रे पंचम सुर में गूंगा बोले द्वार दया का जब तू खोले so it is something like that, she said. So may we hear God's modest voice in everything. Even when we err, may we hear that voice which will bring us on track, which will bring us this balance, which has and shift us back again to that, what here she means by justice and balance. May we stay happily, peacefully in a place, wherever the divine has placed us. May we find happiness there. We are always craving for higher things, which we think is higher, for successes, the worldly successes, ambitions, posts, name, fame, business cards. So we are aiming for that. But whatever position, even the mother, she used to narrate these stories. So one of the disciples, he asked her that mother so-and-so disciple X is very, he's so pure and he's so enlightened and he is so good with everybody. There is so much of goodness in him. In his next life, maybe he will become something very great, like a king or something. Then the mother, she smiled and she says, oh, or maybe a very good shoemaker. So a true, even it's not the work, it's how we do the work that has been allocated to us or been assigned to us. So instead of doing the work which is with us currently, we start looking at other works which we consider as higher, being higher on the ladder, and the work that is with us, the capability that is with us to do the work at hand nicely and to the fullest, giving it a fullest, we deviate from that then. Because our attention again goes to something that is not there with us, so we are hankering for something according to us, our own successes. But Successes according to the divine could be also, even if you are mending a shoe, even if you are cleaning a room, if you are wiping the. Mother used to say to the disciples also that when you clean a room, clean it like as clean as spick and span, like the aeroplanes, aeroplanes are the epitome of cleanliness. So you have to see that there is not a speck of dirt anywhere. So, and she is now making a supplication for all of us actually, and invoking for us. She says, "O Lord, with thought wrapped within." She kind of summarizes her own prayer. "O Lord, with thought wrapped within, the heart radiant with sunshine, I give myself to Thee without reservation, and the self disappears in Thee." So only when we are able to do this, well, the mother knows as children we will err. So she, in most of her prayers, there is always a prayer for everybody. So when she's saying, "I give myself to Thee," and she's carrying the whole world within herself. So she's actually offering the whole world to the divine without reservation, without anything for herself. Because herself is all in the divine. And let us read the prayer again. April 8, 1914. Lord, my thought is calm and my heart ingathered. I turn towards Thee with a profound devotion and a boundless trust. I know that Thy love is all powerful and that Thy justice will reign over the earth. I know that the hour is near when the last veil will be rent and all iniquity disappear to give place to an era of peace and harmonious effort. O Lord, with thought wrapped within and the heart at peace, I approach Thee, and all my being is filled with Thy divine presence. Grant that I may see Thee alone in all things, and that all may be resplendent with Thy divine love. Oh, may all hatred be appeased, all rancor effaced, all fears dispelled, all suspicions destroyed, all malevolence overcome, and in this city, in this country, upon this earth, may all hearts feel vibrating within them that sublime love, source of all transfiguration. O Lord, how ardently do I call and implore Thy love. Grant that my aspiration may be intense enough to awaken the same aspiration everywhere. Oh, may goodness, justice, and peace reign as supreme masters. May ignorant egoism be overcome. Darkness be suddenly illuminated by Thy pure light. May the blind see, the deaf hear. May Thy law be proclaimed in every place, and in a constantly progressive union, in an ever more perfect harmony, may all, like one single being, stretch out their arms towards Thee to identify themselves with Thee and manifest Thee upon earth. O Lord, with thought wrapped within, the heart radiant with sunshine, I give myself to Thee without reservation, and the self disappears in Thee. If anybody wants to share their reflections, share any insights you got while listening to the prayer. You want to say something? Yes, sir. I could not hear the last part of it. Aspiration, you're asking whether aspirations have to be always intense? Uh, Yes. Yeah. The mother. Yes. So he's. uh, Yeah. So why the aspiration has to be intense? I think is the question. When the divine knows everything, and some people. So whenever there is a spark of aspiration, it is intense because aspiration, you cannot separate aspiration from intensity, and it builds up. So even that first spark of aspiration that one feels, there is a connection that gets made instantly with the psychic being. The aspiration is all stemming from the psychic being. And then one has to also take care of this aspiration. You're right. One has to also take care of this aspiration and make it intense and more intense and more intense. And it is like a continuum, it is like a contagion which happens. And often we would find that there are also gaps. You know, at one particular time when we start on the path, we are full of intense aspiration, and there comes a lull, and there comes a period when we forget the divine. And then again, because that spark has already been lit, वो connection तो बन गया है. So and again it comes back, and then as you and how to make the aspiration, we kind of surround ourselves with the right kind of environment, the right kind of people, and we will see that the more we move towards that, the aspiration starts becoming more intense, and the more intense the aspiration becomes, the more we come across such people and such situations, even when when there is a throwback in our life, you know, it comes for a reason. It comes because the divine wants, you know, there is a backward movement, and but that backward movement also has an inertia. It will again push us forward. So this back and forth thing will continue. Slowly we will find that the gaps and these kind of obstructions in life which put us back will become shorter and shorter in duration. So, and anyway, the divine knows everything. So, but the mother always says that you have to tell me, you have to ask, you have to want it. So she has even said that you have to tell me the things which you think you can't tell me. Oh. मांगना भी पड़ेगा. And yeah, yes. Yes. It's the intuitive. They are being born with the intuitive power. Okay. They already would, besides these five senses that we know, and also you can say the higher level of thinking, which is Godward. Pardon? This is the spiritual partnership book that I talked of. It's written by Gary Zukav, and if you read Gary Zukav's books and all, you will find that there is a lot of similarity in the way Sri Aurobindo has put the things, and there is a lot of similarity. And it is an observation which was made by him. And I think most of us, if we see the present generation also, they don't bother about race, caste, religion. They don't even ask you your surname. Forget about anything. So we can already see the changes. And a lot of children and youngsters, they are questioning everything that is happening in the world now. And they are ready to leave everything. There is a huge, you can say the large numbers are increasing. You know, money doesn't fascinate, power doesn't fascinate them. But their curiosity to know more and something that will lead to their personal growth. You know, they question why they are here, what is the purpose of life, and these are the questions which are coming up. Pardon? He has used this term, some, like, you know, there are technical terms which even Sri Aurobindo has used, you know, the mental, the vital. It's only for us to understand it better. Yeah, super. Yeah. Yes. I'm glad you said this because we repeated this word so many times. Yes, mother has also talked of, yeah. And also, both Sri Aurobindo and the mother said that whenever there is a transformation and the next leap happens in evolution, some of the faculties do take a backseat. They may become redundant also. They may become vestigial, but newer qualities which move us forward will be there definitely. So whatever is not necessary will be eliminated automatically, and newer faculties will develop. Yes. Yeah, this question often boggles people, but the more you are on the track, like in your job, in your outside world, you can say appreciation, you get incentives, you get monetary benefits and all. What is the benefit over here? And that is also, you can say, it is also a kind of a validation for your work that you are doing in office or outside world. So basically his question is, what is the validation that we get, and how do we know that we are on the right track? Well, I think the more we progress, when we start looking inward, there are lots of things, you will face those kind of situations which will bring forth exactly that. And when we are not progressing, once we have embarked on this path, and once we stop progressing, or once there is a regression, there is the regression, and everything comes because we are still not able to dissolve the ego. And whenever there is a regression, there will be an uneasiness within. That itself will be the indicator. So would you like to elaborate on this point, Dr. Bishlani? आप कुछ बोलेंगे? He has a question. How do we know we know? How do we know that we are on the right track?
Very common and valid question, that how do we know whether we are making spiritual progress? It cannot be measured as in as concrete a way, as you said, things like increment or promotions. But all the same, some indicators are there. One of them is something which you can assess on your own. Reflect back and compare yourself now as compared to what you were, say, 10 years ago. Some of the things which you can compare are, suppose there was a stressful situation. How much under stress were you because of it 10 years ago? And if a similar situation occurs today, will you be under the same degree of stress? And secondly, how long did you take to come back to your normal self 10 years ago? Will you come back much faster today? That can be one, because that can be one thing. Then, we make choices. You had a conflict because of which you had to make a choice. What is the choice that you made 5 or 10 years ago? In the same type of situation, would you make the same choice or a different choice? So suppose 10 years ago you made a choice which was primarily guided by the emotional part of the being and the mental put together, the psychic voice was ignored. Today, if you will not ignore the psychic voice when it is in conflict with the voice of the vital and the mental, then it means you have made some progress. So there are some of the things which one can do by way of introspection and reflection and assess yourself that yes, I'm making progress. Of course, there can be other indicators also, like overall, whether you feel happier, whether you are keeping better health. But these two things, I think one can always reflect back and see whether you are under the same type of stress under a situation as you were in the past, and how long you took to recover to come back to yourself, and also the choices that you made. How do they compare with the choices that you would make today under similar circumstances? I mean, that was at Sri Aurobindo's level. So I was talking in terms of more ordinary mortals like me. What we were told here is that when you read real progress, you will not ask this question. You just obey the voice. The way Sri Aurobindo said that he had heard that voice of Sri Krishna in the prison and had come to identify it. Subsequently, whenever he heard that voice, he could identify it and he obeyed it without asking any questions. The way he was told to go to Chandarnagar, he went to Chandarnagar. Then he was told to go to Pondicherry, he went to Pondicherry.